Chapter: A Leap Beyond Time. The moment Kira pressed the final command, the sphere trembled with a low, unsettling hum. Everyone on board clutched their harnesses. No jokes, no idle chatter. Even Jace, who usually found a light remark for every occasion, stared ahead in silence, eyes locked on the swirling ring of emerald light expanding beyond the craft's dome. At first, the negative energy vortex circled them slowly, a halo of shimmering brilliance. Outside, the Kronos mega-yacht's hangar dissolved into a whirl of green luminescence. A brittle tension filled the air inside the sphere, each person poised on the edge of breath. Miles felt his heart thunder so powerfully, he wondered if the others could hear it. Then, as if sensing the threshold of possibility, the ring accelerated. The sphere trembled, energy crackling along its hull, distorting the space around them. Outside the dome, reality fractured, a kaleidoscope of time unraveling in reverse. Through the transparent ceiling, they saw the world rewinding, not in a blur, but in vivid, fragmented snapshots. A golden sunrise bathed 1920s New York City. Cars rattling over cobbled streets, men in fedoras tipping their hats, the Statue of Liberty standing proud, before steel beams of half-built skyscrapers unwelded themselves, sinking back into the ground. The Empire State Building shrank, scaffolding dissolving until it was nothing but bare rock. The world twisted, a flash of roaring Victorian London, gas lamps flickering, steam trains chugging, gave way to Napoleonic France, then to a revolution-torn Paris, where the Eiffel Tower itself seemed to unbuild, steel beams deconstructing into unrefined iron. Faster. A bustling Ottoman bazaar unraveled, its minarets vanishing into dust. The Great Wall of China shrank stone by stone, Mongol invaders riding in reverse as dynasties collapsed and reformed in seconds. Still faster! The Roman Empire surged into view, a world of legions and marble columns, then collapsed in reverse. The Colosseum stood pristine, its arena filled with cheering spectators. Before the cheers faded, the stands emptied, and the great amphitheater deconstructed itself brick by brick. The city crumbled into its foundation, leaving behind scattered tribes along the Tiber River. Faster still, the golden sands of Giza stretched wide, a desert untouched, until the pyramids unbuilt themselves, blocks rising into the air and snapping back into quarry walls. Pharaohs stood on unfinished tombs, architects gesturing over blueprints that faded before their eyes. Beyond the pyramids, older civilizations flickered in and out, Sumerian ziggurats rising and falling, the Indus Valley thriving and then vanishing, unknown cities swallowed by shifting landscapes. The stars shimmered, bending. Time was collapsing backward into the unknown. A stunned gasp broke the silence. Theo's voice, barely above a whisper, cut through the electric hum. "We're watching history erase itself!" His words sent a shiver down Miles's spine. No books, no records, no surviving ruins could verify what lay beyond this moment. This was time folding into legend, humanity's past unraveling before their eyes, peeling back to an era where myth and reality blurred. Suddenly, the swirling ring slowed. In that suspended moment, the illusions sharpened. They were no longer mere glimpses of history. They were standing at the edge of something ancient, something unrecorded. Robed figures moved through narrow streets, flickering in the half-light. Towering stone pillars stood untouched by time. An empire lost to legend stretched before them, its people unaware that history was watching. Theo's eyes went wide, his mind racing through centuries of languages and scripts. Lena, breath-catching, recorded quantum variations on her holodisplay, struggling to keep pace with the impossible. Damon gripped the seat until his knuckles blanched, while Jace blinked in open wonder. Then, in a crack of blue lightning, the ring sped up to a heart-pounding velocity. The past was no longer unraveling, it was converging. Arcs of energy whirled, and time itself peeled away in torrents of light. Miles's vision blurred, a raw, electric sensation filled the air. They were no longer watching history disappear, they were plunging into it. A final, blinding flash. A violent tremor rocked the sphere. The entire craft lurched sideways, harnesses straining as an unseen force yanked them off course. Oina's voice crackled through bursts of static. "Warning! Spatial drift detected! Correction required!" Kira's hands flew over the controls, jaw clenched. What the hell was that? Aina, stabilize the field! Aina's response flickered in and out, adjusting, recalibrating, core frequency disrupted. The ring of energy outside the dome wavered, its once fluid motion splintering into jagged bursts of light. For a terrifying moment, the sphere seemed suspended in chaos, adrift between past and present, caught in a temporal riptide. Lena's breath came fast. Are we still locked onto Atlantis? Theo gritted his teeth, staring at the shifting landscapes flickering across the dome. I don't know. We're skipping through time like a skipping stone. Kira exhaled sharply, eyes blazing with focus. Aina! Force stabilization, now! A final surge rocked the sphere, a sound like cracking thunder reverberating through the hull. The air inside became thick, charged with static, every hair on their arms standing on end. Then, as suddenly as it began, the turbulence ceased. The sphere shuddered, the energy field collapsing inward, a final, blinding flash. And then, silence. Twilight. Atlantis. A hush fell. No trace of the modern world remained. Outside the dome, twilight glimmered over a vast open ocean in the far distance. Jagged coastlines stretched away, and on the horizon stood the unmistakable silhouette of a grand city, floating in the middle of the ocean, partially submerged and crumbling. Towering columns rose from the shallow waters, half-broken causeways led to collapsed structures, and once majestic spires leaned at perilous angles. Ancient walls slumped under centuries of erosion. Tendrils of mist coiled between shattered archways, while the faint roar of waves echoed across time. Everyone's breath caught. Miles gripped the armrest, his pulse hammering. Atlantis loomed before them, real, broken, undeniable. That's, it. His voice barely escaped, raw with awe. Through the reinforced glass of the dome, the golden light of twilight bathed the ruins, casting long, shifting shadows over the broken archways and leaning spires. The ocean stretched vast and restless beyond the crumbling structures, waves lapping gently against the remains of stone causeways. Mist curled in tendrils around the base of shattered columns, clinging to the ruins like a final whisper of the past. The landscape felt heavy with time itself, a forgotten world suspended between grandeur and decay. Theo slowly unbuckled his harness, leaning closer to the dome's glass, words failing him. Lena's eyes glistened, centuries of hypotheses burning to reality before her. Damon murmured something like a prayer under his breath. At that, Jace broke the reverent silence. He let out a weak chuckle, trying to mask the pang of disappointment and wonder all at once. Where are the flying saucers, the Star Trek buildings? He paused, swallowing hard. I thought it'd be more futuristic. His voice trailed off into a quiet sadness. No one answered, still spellbound by the ruins looming across the water. It was Atlantis, grand yet broken, regal yet mournful. And they were here in 9600 BC, staring at a fallen legacy that both awed and sobered them. In that moment, time felt fragile and hope felt perilous. But there was no turning back. They had crossed the boundaries of myth and arrived at the remains of a civilization that once defied imagination. The future now depended on what they might find within these flooded halls, secrets of the Metramite crystal, and perhaps revelations far beyond their grasp. All anyone could do was look and wonder, and prepare for whatever waited in the ruins below.